The district, they went in and took 5% from every one of us.
We're going to let go of those workers and we're going to bring them back non-union at $6 an hour because his opinion was they weren't worthy of $10 an hour.
For 3 years we worked without a new contract.
There was a secretary job that came up for bid and I bid on it, and they hired someone that had less seniority than I did.
There was an incident where I was actually accused of assault on one of the children here at the school.
Stories like these happen every day as public employees. And as your state president, I've been around for a long time and I've seen it firsthand. In an instant, you could be faced with a situation that could devastate you and your family.
If you don't have a union, you are one person. You have nobody to back you.
In 1982, my wife and I had a premature baby born, and was transferred immediately to Akron Children's Hospital and died a week later. The bill for that week was well over $100,000. The city that I worked for couldn't make the premiums or payments. I was getting sued by doctors, the hospital, and everything involved with it. It cost me money out of my pocket for my own attorney for a problem that I didn't cause. A year later, collective bargaining was passed as a law. We were permitted to unionize, we were permitted to negotiate contracts, and we were permitted to be involved with the insurance part of the contract where employees wouldn't have to go through what I went through.
Two employees were on approved leave. One was a senior employee and the other one was a newer employee. Both members, card carrying. It was approved weeks, even months ahead of time. And they came back and they fired them for not going to in-service. They came to us, said hands down they knew the contract was violated. So they wanted to fight it, and we did. It took us a year, and we won both of their jobs back.
The district went in and took 5% from every one of us across the board, all the way from our mechanics down to our crossing guards. The 5% wage cut was really tough on everyone. You know, families trying to make ends meet, pay bills. That's why you have a contract. It's in place to, you know, protect you and protect your wages and everything that you have. Oapse never let us down. They started from the beginning with us, with the grievance, to the arbitration, through Common Pleas Court, to the Court of Appeals. That took us all the way to the Supreme Court, and we won. We got our money back.
There was an incident where I was actually accused of assault on one of the children here at the school. I was contacted actually by the police department and told me that yes, they were going to go forward and actually try to press charges. The first thing I thought is, I can't afford a lawyer right about now. Or who would I call? What kind of lawyer would I call at the time? When you do have those type of allegations as a security officer, you can pretty much just forget about having a job again as a security officer, not just here in this region, but probably the entire state. Because I didn't know what I was going to have to do, if I was going to have to go switch professions altogether, and I enjoy working with the kids. When the allegations were first handed down, I was scared, I was embarrassed, because nothing like this had ever happened to me before. And me being scared was because, you know, I have a family and this is stopping my livelihood, so I shared that with my fiance now, and she was scared too. When our field rep contacted me, he let me know, don't even try to get a lawyer on your own. Oapse provides one for you. And he actually met me at the courthouse. And from there on, I had maybe 5 different proceedings that I had to actually show up for. He came to every one. If anybody has the opportunity to join Oapse, I recommend they do. I strongly recommend they do. They saved my job.
I started out knowing nothing about a union, and I learned a lot along the way. I just believed that the attendants were kind of lost without having any benefits. No job security at all, no one to back us. I knew that we needed it and that we deserve it for the job that we do. From day one to if you were there for 10 years, you made the same amount per hour, and we just needed some job security. Before we had the contract, we didn't know if we would even have a job from year to year. Now we have the security of knowing, and you know you have a job. You don't have to worry anymore about where you're going to work. Most of my attendants have received from at least a little over $1 an hour, and some almost $4 an hour for a raise. We've gotten paid holidays. We have paid calamity days. We have personal days. We have sick days that we accrue monthly. When I have new employees fill out their cards, I explain to them what benefits there are now as opposed to before we had a union. Huge difference. You have security and backing now that we never had.
Unions changed my life by giving me peace of mind, by letting me focus on my work, because I know with the union, as long as I do my job, I'm protected.
Oapse has helped my family for 3 generations. My grandmother for wages, my mother for seniority and dignity, and myself for a possible unfair termination, where Oapse was there for all 3 of us.
My father was a local leader, very instrumental in the establishment of the local. My brother, he came on in the 80s, began working at the school district, immediately became a union member. And then of course when I started, I immediately joined the union, and I just grew up with the knowledge that, you know, if I wanted to have a good workplace, I needed a union to be there to back me up. You know, I grew up my father teaching me that and telling me that, you know what, the union is why I make the good wages. The union is why I got the medical benefits. The union's why I have vacation sick time.
Oapse members make almost $4,000 a year more than non-union members doing the identical job. Why wouldn't you be in the union?
Because of my union, what they have done for me in the past, through past contracts and good wages, I have a decent retirement.
A lot of people feel that the union is a protection against discipline, but that's not what it means for me. What it means for me is that it protects my salary. It makes sure that I'm paid the same thing every week. It makes sure that my benefits are stable and don't change with the market. It makes sure that I have a 40-hour work week, that no tyrannical superintendent or supervisor can mistreat me in any type of way. It's an organization that keeps you from being a victim. It gives you a voice. So it protects the employee. And why wouldn't you want to be part of that?
Today, our voice is stronger than ever, and it's a result of the fact that in locals from 5 members to 3,000 members, our leadership and our members are committed to the idea of an Oapse that we've tried to advance, and that is a union that fights every day. Whether the problem is a threat of privatization, an attack on wages and benefits, or threats to their retirement security. We have the finest professional staff in the American labor movement, and we're going to stand up for every one of the members that we represent.
Many of our members don't realize that we have a PAC Political Action Committee. People is our PAC. That's where our members raise voluntary dollars to support political legislation or candidates. For example, the last election when John Kasich was elected, the first thing he did was try to push Senate Bill 5 at us. I've worked 35 years, and that would have taken everything from my contract that I've negotiated in there over the past 35 years. And through the dollars we've raised through the People program, we were able to get our members involved, make everybody aware of what was going on, and fight to stop that legislation. We got it beat by 61%.
The only reason we had the ability to do that was because we all stood together with one voice.
When SB 5, if you look at, just pull it up on the internet and see how many fought for SB 5. I mean, the fight was so real. That's how strong we worked together. The same thing's going to happen again. I hate to say it, but I think we're going to have to get back to basics. We need to get involved with politics, get the right people in office that care about the working men and women.
I ask members all the time to join the program. A lot of them tell me, I don't want to get involved in politics. If you're a public employee, politics is your job, and you really need to get involved.
It started out as an invitation to sit on a board. I became very concerned that the group was headed to take over, if not the whole district, to at least take over the work that the members we represent do. This situation was one of the biggest things that CSEA has ever run up against. If we had to individually do this as just one food service worker or one mechanic, one bus driver, we would have been eaten alive. We would have been ignored. We would have not been brought to the conversation. But because we had the support of the Oapse headquarters and the People dollars, we were able to move the situation along. So by the time several hundred of us marched to City Hall, the mayor was kind of leaning a little bit more our way. We really were able to save jobs and protect our members.
If the school board's coming after your job, put your People dollars to work. Get your members together, find a candidate, endorse them, back them, elect them, change your school board. That's the only way to make a difference is through the political process.
Right to work is going to be our next big fight.
Just as was the case with Senate Bill 5, the National Right to Work campaign is aimed at one thing and one thing only, and that is to weaken unions so that our voice cannot be raised in defense of our members.
Right to work is not about your job, it's about your union. It's about them saying that you have a right to have a job without membership to a union or paying a fair share fee. It is a tool to weaken the union structure. Once the union structure is weakened, then you can eliminate them altogether.
If right to work becomes reality, everything we've worked for all these years is gone. Now, it's gone in a minute.
Management can just come and say, you're gone today and you're going to keep somebody else. They could give a younger person a bigger raise because they like them. People wouldn't be treated fairly and equally.
You got to be involved to keep the rights that you have, or they're going to go away. And if you lose them, you're not going to get them back.
There are forces out there that are really trying to destroy your way of life, our way of life, and we must stand strong against it. If we don't, you'll be looking at minimum wage jobs, no benefits, and the devastation of the middle class.
The young people that are coming on board today do not understand how hard it was when we first started out 30-some years ago. People didn't have good wages and insurance, and everything was a fight to keep and to get. We do have to educate our younger people and some of the older ones that have forgotten.
We have to continue the fight, and we need your help as the younger generation. We need your help to do that.
Sitting by the sidelines and just watching what's going on, it's just going to pass you by. together we're strong, and it takes all of us.
The video you've just seen shows real Oapse members talking about the history of our great union and the fights that they've had to go through to win dignity and respect as public employees. A lot of us have been around a long time, and we'll be here as long as we can. Join us in these fights that we continue to face. Let's do it together.
I am Oapse proud.
And union strong.
Oapse proud, union strong. Oapse proud, union strong.